morning,
Yeah.
Mr.
How are you,
Minister.
Julia?
I'm good. How about you?
Oh, not too bad. Busy.
Busy?
Always busy.
It's
Always
usual.
busy, and it's honor to serve.
I know. Thank you so much, first of all, for agreeing to have this interview with me. I really appreciate it. I just want to let you know ahead, all the questions I'm asking today is based of questions which our community asked. So there will be some general questions, there will be some more particular questions about some programs, and I'm not sure if you have enough time for all the questions. I tried.
I will make my best out of it.
Thank you
You
so
go
much.
ahead with the questions.
I tried to group all of them. I want to respect your time. We have 20 minutes with you. And I have 20 questions, but which I grouped. I got many questions. We will try to do as many as possible. And if you will allow, after I would send later to your press secretary the rest of the questions, and maybe they can give some written replies. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Sounds good.
Even before this job here, I have lots of connections and friends with the Ukrainian community going back my previous job and my social circle as well. So I'm happy with that. So anyways, the question was, what do you think about the CUAET program, right? Alberta's government remains committed to supporting Ukraine and Ukrainian evacuees. We welcome over 64,000 people of Ukrainian evacuees who sought refuge in Alberta. That is probably one of the highest numbers in Canada, and have worked closely with the federal government, the business, and Ukrainian Canadian community and settlement organizations in this regard to help them, support them.
You know, thank you so much, first of all, for helping and supporting them. It's really so important for Ukrainians. Do you think that federal election will affect immigration in Canada?
Well, immigration is largely it's a jurisdiction of the federal government, although we are supposed to work together on yearly planning and all that. But federal government, kind of have control over how many numbers come to Canada, and they have recently announced some numbers, and they have changed what we had thought before. So we just have to wait and see how the final numbers come out to be, but they have reduced significantly the PR numbers allocated for next year,
Okay.
and onward.
Okay, one more. The next questions. Are you planning to open some new integrating programs for newcomers? I heard that starting this summer, all the language courses for Ukrainian newcomers will be stopped. Are you planning to do some support for them in this case?
Okay, so my ministry provides several programs and services to support newcomer settlement and integration. These programs are delivered by settlement agencies and include, I will mention some of them here, English services, integration and language assessment supports, grants to help Alberta communities strengthen their capacity to attract, welcome, and retain newcomers, mentorship opportunities for internationally trained professionals via our Alberta Immigrant Mentorship Innovation Grant that funds career mentorship opportunities to enhance immigrant labor market attachments, and fund microloan initiatives which provide low-interest microloans to cover professional expenses such as licensing, certification, examination fee, and skill upgrading. So these are some of the things that we provide. And in 2023-2024, we provided more than 10 million to support agency delivered settlement, integration, and language services. This is overall that our government has done, in addition to what federal government has done, and our programs cover the areas that are not met by federal funding. So we spent about $10 million last year to on these services. Since 2021, Alberta has invested over $2.8 million in multi-year grant funding to 11 organizations through Alberta Immigrant Mentorship Innovation Grant These 11 projects expected to help over 1,800 new Albertans find meaningful employment based on their work experiences, education, and skills. So these are some of the programs, and we do our best to make sure that people in general, who are here in our province, are their educational needs, their skill upbringing needs, and their ethno-cultural needs are met.
Thank you so much. So I just want to clarify, will they continue receiving this support from the government of Alberta?
Of course, Julia. We will continue.
Thank you.
If anything, we will try to do more.
Okay, thank you so much. I will skip one question. I will go to this one because I got really many requests from people about these questions. According to the new regulations, the maximum is 100 points. What is the minimum level of points to be able to apply for PR? And I say for you why I want to ask these questions. Unfortunately, very many Ukrainians who came here, they weren't ready to come here at all. They moved here because of the war. They didn't prepare for immigration. That's why their English language is not as good as, for example, compared to other nationalities in this case. And you introduced an expression of interest program system with points grid. Based on a simple calculations, most immigrants from Ukraine, they will score between 50 and 60 points. And to achieve a higher score, applicants need either relatives in Alberta to have or local Canadian education. Do they have a chance to be selected with the 50-60 points? What do you think about it?
First of all, Juliana, thank you very much for that excellent question. So our expression of interest has a maximum point limit, but there is no minimum. The minimum is determined by the areas that we need people for example, in the sector, and a lot of other considerations that be taking place. That doesn't mean somebody has 100 points, they will automatically be elected or selected. So, but it depends also on the, let's say there's a sector, I don't know, hospitality and tourism sector, right? In that, so we will need people who have relevant experience, who have relevant education, and then they will look at the needs, how many people we need in this area. So that based on that, the cutoff for them, I'm just imagining that it would be different than 100 points or 80 points or whatever. So they will see, so it's looking at the sectoral demand and needs that we have versus how many the maximum points that you might have. But it's not. But we have to have cut summary, right? We have to. If it's not 100, we could have 50. Then you say, well, 50. What do you need 50? What do you need 50? But that's the maximum point that you get, right? It's a point of reference more than anything else. Then each individual application will be evaluated and will be looked at by the based on the labor shortage in that particular sector that you apply, the program the application that is put in by potential PR people, immigrants, potential immigrant people. They will do an EOI application, right? So they will have mention what they want to work, where they want to work, what is the area, what is their expertise for that. So it will be relevant to that. So that's the it's I don't think that that everybody from Ukraine will be required 100 points to be eligible.
So do they have?
But one thing, Juliana, though, we want as many people as possible under our Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. We have so many people applying for so many for so limited allocations that we have. I'm on your side. We want more people because I'm working with the federal government to get more economic immigration allocations. So what we involved here in the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program is economic immigration. It's not family reunification. It's about people who are here, or people who want to be here and have job offers or are working already.
Thank you so much, Minister, about it. Next question is very important question, and I wrote to you about it because really so many Ukrainians wrote to me this question. Some big popular companies where many Ukrainian newcomers, such as Walmart, Winners, Amazon, and other companies as well, don't sign declaration forms. And many people are really frustrated about it because they can't apply properly. What do you recommend to do for those people if they are not able to submit this document?
Okay, first and foremost, the declaration letter was adopted to protect AAIP applicants from rising newcomers exploitation and immigration fraud, which is rising everywhere in Canada and Alberta included. For example, AAIP has received fraudulent job offers purporting to be large companies, but offers were fake. The form provides a stronger protection against this. We are aware some employers have expressed concerns about signing form, but again, the form is a protection for applicants. AAIP welcomes employers' questions and has incorporated employer feedback into form after concerns were raised. But to protect Alberta Advantage immigration programs, integrity, and address growing job offers and immigration fraud, the employer declaration and authorization form must be submitted and signed by the employer if the job offer is part of the application requirement. If it isn't, the applicant would not be eligible. Right? So it's basically, Juliana, it's basically to protect the applicants more than anything else, because there has been lots of exploitation going on. Some people may have actually have submitted, as I was telling you earlier, as sharing with you earlier, that that we are big companies, we are fine, but then when you open up the file and do a little bit of investigation, it turns out to be a fake company. So this is where we come in, and we are trying to help people who have genuine job letters, people who are genuine employees, and genuine employers. So both. We are just trying to kind of minimize that. But I will also have a look, maybe chat with my department, see if there's anything we can do to make it easier for people who are unable to get their form done by the employer. Right. So I don't know how we would do that, but maybe we need to work with some of the employers to give them understanding that this is what we are trying to do. It's nothing to do. Some big companies, they feel that, oh, we are huge companies and they're asking us to do this letter. That's not a good thing, right?
Yes.
So we need to work probably with them to rectify their concerns, and then hopefully they will. Once they understand, it's for the person they're trying. It's for the protection of the person they are trying to hire, and also it's for themselves. It's not there's nothing more, no more, no less than that, right? So we're just trying to do that and see if we can, if there's a way to make it easier, then for the employers to submit the form, I will look into that.
Thank you so much for it, and thank you so much for trying to make it really very easy for Ukrainian newcomers, because currently examples I gave to you, it's really big well-known companies such as Walmart, Winners, Amazon. And many people from those companies wrote to me that they can't get this declaration form. And I'm really so much thankful that you want to make easier and protect Ukrainian newcomers, so it's not some fake companies. But these three examples, this is a big company, and they have this problem.
Yeah, and our intention is to protect,
yes,
safeguard the interest of our applicants. People, we don't want them to be exploited by some companies. And I'm not. I mean, these big companies are good companies. There's no question about that, right? So I think maybe we need to maybe work with the companies to get them to understand what is that we're doing for. It's nothing against their company or anything like that. It's just that we're trying to protect the you know how these needs rise, right? Because there's something goes wrong somewhere, and then we take some actions to make corrective actions to make it easier for, so that people are not exploited anymore.
Maybe you can just talk, for example, as a government with these huge companies. They have like thousands of workers working there, especially Ukrainian newcomers. Maybe some simpler system can be with them or anything. You have a big team. Definitely you can create some system to make it possible to people to apply who works at least on those huge companies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will have I will internally I will talk about it, see if there's anything that we can do to make this process easier and better.
Thank you so much. Next questions. What is being done to expedite the PR status of the Ukrainian newcomers?
Okay, this is an important question again. So once we have approved the application, everything that we need to be satisfied, we are satisfied, everything is good, so application is approved, and to the best of my knowledge, it's then sent to federal government. It's flipped over to federal government, and they do a couple of things. I think they do security checks and they do medical exam. I don't know what they do a couple of things afterwards, and that the PR actually comes from federal government after all the requirements are met. So this is part of the process that they will issue a PR. So sometimes it takes not too long. Sometimes it takes much longer, and we continue to work with federal government to make it as soon as possible, not only for Ukrainian evacuees or PR people, or for that matter, or any particular nationality, but for all of them. We want them to process them as soon as possible because these people have been waiting, and it takes some time after they apply to AAIP to get their processing done too within our department. And there's so much demand for people to come to Alberta.
Yes.
We are so lucky to be living in this province, and there are opportunities for so many people. Lots of people want to come here, and we do our best to process as soon as possible. But it's not. We have also our own resources within which we work and process the applications. So we are doing our best to work with the federal government to continue. Every time I meet with them, and we have meetings of provincial territorial ministers meeting and federal minister with federal minister, I will bring this up again.
Yeah. And thank you so much for doing everything what you do right now to have a bigger quota for Alberta, because I know it was a big thing last year. Actually, how is about... I'm sorry, my microphone is sometimes disconnected.
Just on that one question though, I just want to add something else. We have also, myself, asked for higher numbers from federal government. And when we were specifically requested with respect to Ukrainian evacuees as well, I said, give us additional number, so that we can have a stream for them exclusive.
Yes.
Or if you don't want to do that, do your own stream for Ukrainians, right? So then people are accommodated on that. So we haven't heard anything back on that. I have my premier, Daniel Smith, has sent a letter on that too, but we haven't heard anything back. But in fact, one thing that has happened, the indications are that they are going to reduce our numbers. So that's something that when you meet your MP, member of parliament, maybe you can talk, you talk to him or her about our request.
Yeah, I know. I thank you so much about it. I had 1 month ago, actually 1 month ago, I had an interview with Mark Miller, and this question I asked him as well. I said, are you planning to do a special program for Ukrainian evacuees or not? And are you planning to do a special program for Alberta for Ukrainian newcomers? Because we got like around 70,000 Ukrainian newcomers. This is what I heard maybe 2 months ago. Now you're saying 65, maybe some of them already left. And it's
65 that are probably under the healthcare, right? But some people have not been yet. So I also heard that we're close to or over 70,000 by now. That number is probably a little bit back, and it's the one that has come from official from healthcare. People who applied, there's a lot of people who have not applied yet. So,
and it's
but anyways, 64 or 70, That's a huge number.
Exactly, it's still a huge number, and those people are already in the province, you know.
Yes.
We need to do something with it, and they are building their lives here, they are buying houses, they are getting their jobs, and the most important, they don't have where to go back, because their cities back in Ukraine, they are destroyed, they are ruined, so they don't, and there is still war, active war. They don't have where to go back. And this is a very big problem for Ukrainians currently. And thank you so much for talking on behalf of Ukrainians for the federal government about it, because should be done something to be able to help those people.
Of course, we do our best.
Yeah, and the last questions, you have it as well. And also I got a lot of comments and questions about it. What measures is the Alberta government taking to ensure the recognition of foreign degrees and qualifications among immigrants? Many doctors wrote to me about it, that they would like to work as a doctors and they are not so able to do so, and other professions as well. And are additional educational programs or educational partnerships planned to improve immigrants' access to local education and professional development?
Well, Juliana, you asked a question that is so close to my heart. I have been as a volunteer before I got to this job. I have helped so many people who needed their credentials recognized and the issues that they brought to me as a volunteer. And I used to bring these issues to my own member of parliament. This goes back 25 years, as far as 25 years back. So I am, since we got, I got elected in 2019. So we have done a number of things in credential recognitions. First thing that we did was in 2019, Bill 11, it's a Fair Registration Practices Act. So we, for the first time in the history of this province, we streamlined the credential recognition process for all the professional regulatory bodies. At that time, there were 70 or thereabout, and they are part of that addendum of that Bill 11. Now, you should take a look at that bill. Mm-hmm. That was the first thing we did. And then we have been trying this mentorship programs, trying to help people and all that. We've done a number of other things to make sure that people are recognized for their education. We have also put together a anti-racism action plan that trains people to make sure at the government level, to make sure that people are recognized for their ability, not for their accent. They speak English because it's different accent, or they have a different cultural background or whatever, so or different faiths. So we have implemented that across our 25, 26 ministries, so that people are properly trained. We have also recently, and more importantly, we have established a committee, Foreign Credential Recognition Committee, that will look and that this is pretty high ranking committee in terms of the work that they're charged to do. Like people, like members, like head of APAGA, Association of Professional Engineers, College, Bow Valley College, and there was international medical graduates, their rep, and there's a veterinary. There's so many different areas where credentials needs to be, or credential recognition is an issue. We have a committee of 12 members now, 12 or 13, I think it's 12, right? 12 or 13 members that will look into our existing laws that we have, our provisions that we have, look across Canada, see what they have, look across the world, see what we can learn something, because it makes absolutely no sense for a doctor from Ukraine to come here and then do something other than his or her own field of study after working there for 20 years or whatever, right? So they should be able to, quickly get into their own profession. We will be waiting for, this committee was just put together a few months back, and within some time in the future, I think within 1 year, they're supposed to give us a whole bunch of recommendations, and we will also then make sure that our jurisdiction is one of the best in the world to attract the professionals from around the world and to be placed in their own fields without unnecessary hardships and barriers that may be there right now. So we are working hard on this, but it takes time. For example, even for the doctors, for example, right? It's not easy to get a doctor from Brazil and have them in Alberta and get them going right away. They will have to do their own exams. And then there's a College of Physicians and Surgeons of Alberta. They will have to have a internship policy, a position. Right now, we are trying to make it easier. So these internships are going to come out from different people, different settings here in Alberta, so that it's easier to accommodate as many people as possible. I know, for example, in Calgary right now in Edmonton, there are probably about 200-300 people in Calgary, 200-300 doctors, foreign qualified doctors, who have passed all the exams, and they're just waiting to be able to start their practice. And we also know that there's shortage in rural Alberta, shortage in even Calgary and Edmonton in healthcare. So there's we need to figure out what we need to do to make sure that we can get those people to practicing as soon as possible. So we have done, although we have done a fair amount of work, we're still working on it, and we will have some probably more work to do as soon as we have the recommendation from Foreign Credential Advisory Council, Advisory Committee that's currently working on this issue, very hard to make sure that we have a system in place, make the best system in place in Alberta for efficient, effective, to address the concerns of foreign qualification recognition.
Thank you so much about it. And I left this question specially for the last question, because I remember when we met with you first time in person, when it was Jason Kenney's meeting that time, this is what you mentioned. You just became minister that time, and this is exactly what you mentioned that time, that your goal is to make that all the specialists who work back home on that profession, they would work on the same professions here in Alberta. I remember the time we had to have in Calgary some newcomers conference where had to be some topic exactly dedicated to this. Panel discussion had to be dedicated to this topic. And that's why I ask this question now, like what's going on, how everything changed. And thank you again for working on this topic.
So you can see, I said that almost 5 years ago. We have made progress, and right now we are still continuing to make sure that we are the best in not only in Canada but around the world in terms of foreign credential issue recognition and making it easier for people to be in their own field. Some people don't see the significance of this. According to Conference Board of Canada, and I may have shared that with you, Tony, way back when the first we met. At that time, they will study that if everybody was working in their own field in Canada, if there was doctor working as a doctor, engineer working as an engineer, that would have a positive impact of $16 billion in the Canadian economy. That number is probably around 21 billion right now. I don't know, right? So, and the other thing is, here's what really gets me. I have been a volunteer all of my life. I have helped people, and when you are working in your own field, the good feeling that you have for yourself, self-esteem, your family, it's immeasurable.
So true.
Right? As opposed to working for somebody else, and then that's not your training, and you're doing something that is not beneficial, to you as a professional. And also then you are not happy. So this, if someone is recognized for their qualification, they'll be happy, their family will be happy, and government will be happy because they will be working, paying more taxes too, because now they're making more money, and they are happy, and it also helps government too. Plus, the people who are, because somebody who opens up in the practice, they hire 2-3 people. So those people get jobs.
Yes.
So it's a win-win, three-way win, right? Every way you look at it. That's why it's so important. And this, this thing was very important to me. And way back when we started in 2019, yes, of course, under Premier Kenny at that time, we started make some progress on this, and we have done, a lot of things. But I cannot say that we've done everything that we need to do. That's why we have this committee now that will finally give us good recommendations, and we will. I'm hoping to be able to, to implement those recommendations to make it easier for people. But one last thing, I know that was the last question, but one more thing that we have done in the last, probably 4 or 5 years, but particularly recently, last 1 year or so, we have started a program to recognize the contribution of immigrants who are in Alberta. We call it Alberta. We used to call it Alberta Newcomer Recognition Awards. We have changed that to Alberta Immigrant Impact Award. People like yourself, other people who are born outside Alberta, they have come here and they have made huge difference in our community, whether it's in volunteerism, whether voluntary services, whether it's some professional work, you've done something different that helps everybody else, whether you're an entrepreneur, you open up a business, you have so many people inside. So positive stories, right? People who bring these skills and education with them and are successful in them. So we recognize them. Last 2 weeks ago, we had this program for 2023 for the third time. I started that in 2022 as first year, and then 2023. Last year was 2024. Earlier this year was about 2 weeks ago. So in that, we recognize, I think it was 35 people who made huge contribution to our province. And so that's another thing that we have started to do. And when we share these stories in the mainstream, people who have been living here for generations, so they know the value that is added by newcomers. And then you have a feeling of harmony, understanding, tolerance, acceptance, dignity, respect. So just want to, want people to realize the value that newcomers, immigrants bring, whether they are from Ukraine, Brazil, wherever they are from. Right?
Thank you so much.
That.
Yes, thank you so
So
much.
I want you to spread that in your community.
Yes.
In addition to that, we have a number of committees, and you are also one of the committees. Yeah. So there's a anti-racism committee. There is a previous council on multiculturalism. Alberta Black Advisory Council, as well as ACWAR.
ACWAR, yes, this one, yes. 9 delegates are there, yes.
Yeah. So these are the 4 committees that basically the purpose of each committee is a little bit different, but we are trying to be helpful. Yes. Helpful to those communities, helpful to the newcomers, our immigrants, to excel. And I know they are excelling, and they will continue to excel in this province.
Unfortunately, my term now in October is finishing. I was for 6 years, maximum possible. Now I need to have a break for 2 years and then to reapply again. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's fine. So you can come back again.
Yeah, I will. Definitely, I will.
And thank you for your service on that. We are. Some people thought that we were going to probably the committee will not continue, but I made sure that the committee will continue, and we will continue to do work. That committee has been doing for a number of years.
We have 1.5 minutes left. Just I want to give you a time frame. And thank you so much again for this committee that you created. I've been there for 6 years, and it really gives a huge impact to everything, to our community and to Alberta's community. It's really so good, and thank you so much for leading this community. Right now, like Jackie Armstrong-Homonyuk, she is the head of the community, but it's under your ministry. So
Yes.
Thank you so much for having it and for making sure this committee will continue.
I'm lucky to have them in my ministry.
Yes, thank you. We have 1 minute left. If you want, we can continue. We just need to re-sign up again through the same link, or if you want, you can just say some final words to our listeners.
Yeah, well, on that committee there, we have some new people there now. They're just as good as you are, and they are going to. I'm pretty sure they're going to make huge contributions on that committee, and also it's not only that committee, but it's overall, our programs and services that we have tried to provide to our evacuees from Ukraine. I've been involved in this for last almost a year and a half, and done everything possible to make sure that evacuees are welcomed here. We did whatever we could do, whether with respect to healthcare and other services, and we're so thankful for their contribution. Your communities are over close to 400,000 people in Alberta. One of the
I'm so sorry.
problems.
It will disconnect us.